Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Caccera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Caccera.
Welcome in, Joe Caccera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series, as we enter into yet another Friday. If it is Friday, I'm alongside my partners, Buddy and Bobby. Good to have you guys back.
Always great to be here.
We have some fun series for you coming in, and this will be part one, moving in, moving out of the U.S. A lot of fun, a lot of research went into this, so we're really looking forward to sharing this to our listeners. Before we dive in, just a reminder, if you need any assistance in the area of buying, selling, or just need to talk to an expert about maybe what you should do in a crazy market like this, be sure to contact Bobby. You could do that a couple different ways. You could text or call her, 650-346-5352, or you could visit her website, Bobby Decker, BOBBIDECKER.com. Also, if you're in the need of some financing, and one of the things you really need to do in a market like this is make sure you have a true approval, and make sure you do, and you're ready to get financed, and you release really all of the different things that go into the financing. Be prepared is what I'm saying, and make sure you do that. If you're not working with someone you trust, you can contact me, 408-838-9060. You could always email joe@reradiolive.com. All right, are we ready?
We're ready.
We're going to get going. So the world is a smaller place for sure. Everybody knows these days how much more dramatic the effect on real estate industry has had. More and more buyers. I mean, we are... You know, we talk about the global economy, right, and how things are shrinking. It is for sure.
Fast.
So moving in. Who's moving in? Who's moving out? Who's doing this, Bobby? You're the expert.
Yeah. Moving in, moving out. I'll tell you, more people would be moving in if we had some inventory.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. This is a huge topic about moving in, moving out, what you need to do, what you need to look at. And it's going to take at least 3 podcasts. And we are going to cover it. So this is part 1. And the basis of our insights today come from 3 sources. One is the Certified International Property Specialist Designation, or CIPS, from the National Association of Realtors. And that's a report on the inbound buyers from around the world. And the association... Okay, this comes from NAR, which is National Association. Right. I'll just say NAR. And we also had 2 days of really extensive meetings with Mike Cobb, who is the CEO of ECI Development Corporation. And that was just this week. Buddy got him here. Well, he kind of was coming in, and you got it all arranged. What an interesting Monday, Tuesday, Buddy.
That's going to be part 2. 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3 will appear some of that conversation on who's moving out.
Yeah.
So what...
Can we pick who's moving out? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Did you know that you're moving too?
Yeah, right.
Goodbye. Hey, let me get it started, though. First, I want to talk about the Certified International Property Specialist designation that Bobby mentioned. It's a 5 full-day course, and it takes realtors kind of around the world and builds their understanding of global markets, customs, preferences, and the preferences of our international buyers and sellers. And a little commercial here. Bobby is approved instructor for this course and teaches it locally and globally. You can learn more by going to YouTube and searching on Bobby Decker Instructor. You'll see a lot of information about the course and the experience that people have had taking that course and the value they see in it. The essence of this is, if you're in the real estate industry and you're in a position to deal with offshore or want to deal with offshore buyers and sellers, this course is really mandatory. It gives you all the details, all the insights, all the complexity of how to be effective in working with overseas clients when they come in. And the world, as Joe mentioned, is shrinking. The next piece of the puzzle is this big report from the National Association of Realtors. Joe, give us a little insight on what that's all about.
Will do. Thanks, buddy. So this will be the moving in side of the coin as we move through this. The report hit the front page of the Wall Street Journal. I believe it hit the front page because it's so eye-opening. I think we all would agree.
It's amazing.
There's a reason for that. The big news is our business in the world of real estate. And boy, listen to this. So in a 12-month period, through March 2017, there was 49%. That's right. You didn't get that wrong. You're not hearing that. 49% increase in property sales to international buyers. That's incredible.
That's a big number.
I mean, not 5%, not 6%, not 20%. That is huge.
That is
49%.
Huge. And there's been lots of things we're going to talk about around that, but that number just jumps off the page. I'm certain that's why it was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal.
Mm-hmm.
So over half of these, may or may not surprise you, over half of these buyers did so in 3 states in this order. Good old Sunshine, Florida, number 1. And then, of course, where we live and reside, California, and then Texas. Texas always surprises me a little bit, but there's a lot of things going on in Texas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a lot of growth.
Yeah. A lot of business.
Tax friendly, right?
Yeah, very tax friendly, both for people and businesses.
Right.
There's a lot of things about Texas that people like.
And it never surprises us, I think, right? Those of us in real estate and we visit that. I'm not sure that Florida and California will always be probably a fan favorite of many international buyers.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we went over that whole story about how the gloom and doom of Miami, and boom, South Americans came up here and everything was gobbled up, and now they have a housing shortage.
So, of course, our our home base leads the charge here in Northern California. Boy, I'll tell you, here we go. So This is staggering stuff, and that's what we'll talk about in today's podcast. I'll roll it over to Bobbi.
Well, the third component of this, the first was the CIPS, the second was NAR, and now it's Mike Cobb, MC. And he did 3 programs for us in January. Remember, he called in, and we were all excited because we did Skyping out of Central America. That was really cool. And it worked. The 3 of us are always surprised when something works.
Well, the promise of technology isn't always the reality of technology.
Exactly. And he is talking about and gives his impetus of moving out of North America and or investing in property in Central and South America. And the surprising thing that much of the rationale is the same for moving in as for those moving out. But that's why we're going to try and give you little tidbits that will help you in either direction. And we'll try and sum up both of these in economic and lifestyle decisions. Remember, I don't think any of us, at least I haven't, I don't sell anybody real estate.
No.
I sell them a lifestyle.
That's right.
I would not send you something where reading a book, Joe, and playing chess or checkers would be the thing to do, However, I would send you all this golf stuff over and over and over again because I'd say, oh, you think you like that one? Look at this one. So, that's why we've got the 3 programs this morning.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. For sure. So back to the top of the order, as we'd say in the baseball term, the Certified International Property Specialist, of course, the course you teach. What's going on there?
Well, I think it's a designation. It's been around, Joe, probably since, I'm trying to think, 2002. Yeah, okay. A little over, maybe 15 years, 10, 15 years. And very small amount of agents, close to 3,500. Not even that, maybe only 3,300 still.
Why would it so important? I don't mean to interrupt you.
No.
It's so important, and we know we're in a global economy. We talk about this. You guys do it. You live it. Is it just they don't think it's important enough, most realtors, that would take the time and energy to do this? Yes,
you're exactly right. And they don't want to invest. Right. You have to invest in your future. Yeah. And this is the one designation that keeps you from making faux pas all the way along with people coming over here. There are 2 types of basically people, high context and low context, or cultures. And the high context wants to make a relationship. The contract is kind of sort of what they want to do. And if they don't trust you and have a relationship with you, you're not going to get them on paper to finalize the transaction. The low context guys, they are like the U.S. And you will do it this way. This is the contract. You're going to follow it line by line, and don't bother hugging me. I just want to get the deal done. It's real Wall Street kind of stuff. So, with these people coming in, you've got to make, and I say this to the classes all the time, you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. True. And how you handle business cards, what you put on your business cards. It's just amazing. And what I love, being a teacher at heart, is when the students grab the ideas, these little kernels, and run with them. Yeah. Dan was in my first class. He has now reached out, and Buddy, you know about this. He's reached out to developers in Mexico.
Yep, he's all excited about this. I mean, he said in the kind of the back of his mind that his retirement is an offshore approach. Oh. And since Bobby's class and the people we talked to, more and more people are saying, I've really been thinking about that, either as a vacation property and maybe turning it into retirement later on. There is a mindset about the move out part of the world. And Dan's been doing lots of research and plans to visit a number of these properties in October.
And the neat thing is he even sounds different, Joe. I mean, he's got this knowledge. I also have another one. Once you stretch your brain, it never goes back to its original position. So you learn. As you learn, you become more and more multifaceted. And then the second or third day I was teaching the class, I actually ratified, ratified a contract with an agent who was in China. Her client was here. She wrote everything on DocuSign, sent it to me, and we ratified with her in China.
Yeah, Bobby's 11 o'clock at night working on the ratification paperwork, and the lady in China around midday, I guess, was doing the paperwork on her end. I mean, very good. Isn't that what we're into here, ladies and gentlemen? So let me tell you a little bit more about Dan. Dan's actually also planning to join a Belize trip to Ambergris Island in October. And this is actually a little group plan. We're going to be looking at substantial development and potentially some big news just before we arrive about this development. This is one of my Cobb's properties in Ambergris Key. If I'm saying that right, Ambergris. Ambergris Key. Okay. And so we're going to extend out a little bit. If anybody wants to join us, give me a shout. You can reach me at 650-533-8790, or you can email me at gwsaupe@imandsa.com. Let me repeat that. gwsaupe@imandsa.com. Joe, you in?
I'm in. I am in, but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk more about this project and the trip. That sounds exciting.
It is exciting.
It is exciting. And I'm, stretching our minds, guys. Think of a great podcast we're going to have when we get back.
Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. All right, this is Joe Kuchera alongside Bobbi and Buddy. We are with you with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back.
For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com.
Are you living your desired lifestyle in your primary residence or your vacation property? Is it time to redefine what living environment works best for you? If you are a couple with a growing family, an empty nester, or just want that getaway property that fulfills a dream, each of those circumstances could mean selling and or buying a property. The Bobbi Decker team can provide you optimized results, either with her San Francisco Bay Area team or working with any of the 750-plus Sotheby's International Realty offices around the world. Bobbi's skills, attention to detail, and level of support for her clients has set her apart in assisting people to optimize results selling their properties or finding the home that meets their needs and desires. For more information or assistance, contact Bobbi at 650-346-5352. Visit her website at www.bobbidecker.com or email bobbi.decker@sotheby'srealty.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. It is Friday. I'm sitting alongside my partners, Bobbi and Buddy. We're talking about the fun topic here that most of you are listening to, and that is in and out to U.S. Who's moving in, who's moving out. This is the first of 3 parts because there's so much information here. And hang on tight because there's a lot of good data and information. And again, what I'll remind you on a regular basis, and I'd like that we most do in this program, is that we work really hard to try to continue to provide you, the consumer, with education, information to make you a more wise consumer.
Absolutely.
Pretty basic, right?
Very basic.
We want to educate you. We don't expect you to be the experts. We would like to think that we are the experts in what we do. We do want you to check in, let us know if we could help you in any way, but we do want to make this material hopefully educational and have a little fun too. Speaking of fun, talking about this trip to Belize, is there golf? That's like, I have my pen ready.
Yeah, I know what that's right. You're ready to sign.
Ready to sign.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
There's a great little
good.
golf course.
I'm in.
Then you're in.
Okay, so you're on the list, Joe, and I should have all the details in this about this trip in probably about a week.
Okay.
Cool. Very cool. All right, so here's an interesting fact. One of the presentations that Mike made, I have to tell you, though, one of the reasons that we like Mike Cobb is because he's a stand-up guy, and he's got the credentials, Joe. Do not go, and we're going to talk about that in the third part. Do not buy sight unseen. Do not buy, for a lot of reasons, and I don't want to, it's such an interesting program, the third part, that I don't want to give away. That's right. You've got to hang out to find out about it. But he's on the National Association Board of Directors, and he was brought on to help them determine who is moving out, Joe. We've got more data than the law allows coming in.
Right.
Exactly, precisely.
Who's exiting?
That's right. And he wants to know, where is the cash flow going and why are they going there? Because with the boomers aging as they are, and then there's another demographic that people have overlooked. The millennials, they can pretty much work anywhere.
They can. No,
do you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Got good internet connectivity.
So they can surf in the morning and surf in the afternoon and maybe work somewhere in the middle.
Very true. And those things are more important to the millennials than us.
It's experiential.
They want to be on the move, be able to work wherever they go.
Yep.
But that's huge demographics. Those two groups could tell us an awful lot.
There is a clear trend. Yeah, there is.
So they're trying to study that, and that's how Mike has been able to, kind of capture the hearts and heads of people, because he's very sincere. His family lived there, and for how many years, Bud? 10?
14 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Nicaragua.
All right.
So, we don't have all that data, but it's coming.
It's coming, and we hope to deliver it to you. So while we're talking about the NAR, let's go back to the moving in part, the report. Some more interesting facts. Are you ready? Here we go. So the 49% increase helped to boost the impound of money value of the offshore buyer for the residential properties that year to 1 point. That's another, actually,
what a number.
$153 billion. I was going to say 1 point. No, not point anything. $153 billion.
$153 billion worth of residential real estate.
Wow.
Should the realtors get their CIPS designation, there's some money on the move
Maybe
here.
we should just get a big stamp and walk around and just stamp their foreheads. Bam, bam. $153 million. $153. Bobbi could teach it. She could teach all you guys. Get out there and get that class.
Yes, just make yourself stand in the flow. You don't want to catch the river. You want the river to come to you.
Right. Be prepared. All right. The top 3 purchasers were China, number 1, Canada, number 2, and the UK, number 3. So, again, this is educating, understanding, knowing your markets, knowing the global economy, what's going on. We're sharing with you what's going on. We're sharing you the money that's going on, and the huge amount of money that's spent, and then where it's coming from. So China number 1, Canada 2, and the UK 3. Approximately 10% of foreign buyers paid over $1 million. Okay, so take a look at that. $1 million, and 44% of the transactions were all cash. So there's still a lot of all-cash transactions going on.
There is.
We heard a while back it slowed down a little bit, but it sounds like people are still spending cash.
At $153 billion pace.
Yeah.
Well, that's not all cash, but 10% of it was all cash.
Coming in with the cash. Coming in with the big money. Amazing numbers. We'll take more time in the future podcasts to get more details of this, but boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, this is good stuff. Really good stuff. Yeah,
I have to tell our audience, there is so much information in this report that we're probably not going to be able to cover it all, even in our 3 broadcasts. So if you really need to jump in and want to read the report beginning to end and some other information that about this report, you can go to Bobby's blog, bobbydecker.com, and look up the July 17th market update post. Okay. That'll have you, all the research is connected to that post so that you can go find out if you want to get ahead of us a little bit and get into some of those details. Don't leave us, though, because these other sections are still going to talk about the move out part.
That's right. Very good.
Well, and for everyone in the real estate industry, your broker owners, your association, your managers, your agents, your just independent brokers, the potential for these offshore buyers and sellers is huge. We're on the beginning of it. This is the beginning of the wave, Joe. The beginning of the retiring of the boomers. Again, not having enough money to really live well here, right. So they can do that. The millennials that are very pick up my bags and just go, they're the ones that push the whole tiny house movement. So understanding the cultures of all these people is critical, and that's the only reason we stress the CIPS. I mean, there are 35, I keep changing around, but it's somewhere between 3,300 and 3,600 of the designees now. And that's worldwide, Joe. We've got millions of realtors. When you send somebody over, you want to make sure they're going to be taken care of, so they look for that little designation. When they send them here, they want to know you're going to be sensitive to their cultures. Right. So that's why they look for that little So why not get it now when the flow is just starting, as opposed to saying, I got to play catch up. Yeah,
good idea. So how would they go about it? Brokers, realtors, associations. So how do they get it set up? How do they learn? I mean, how do they do it?
Well, associations can get what's called the REBAC license from NAR. Okay, and that's a cost to them. Not every association has that. Okay. But the ones that do, you can actually, and it's a great way to network, Joe. We had some people down from Reno. We had a couple of others from Tahoe.
Are you suggesting that people actually spend some time and energy on their business? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, well, I know that comes as like a real, are you kidding me kind of come. Yes.
I'm too sarcastic at times.
Well, you know what? It's because we see it. You see it. Yeah, you see the agents that come in. Yes, we keep telling them, never go in non-contingent on a condo complex. You're just telling me about a huge problem you had because they didn't check the financials on the condo. So guess what? Those buyers are going to lose their deposit.
Yeah, Get educated, folks.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about this information on the CIPS designation, get a hold of Bobby. Bobby, what's the number they should reach you at?
650-346-5352, and that's a text or a call. And I'll get back to you. I love seeing the lights go on.
Yeah, or Bobby at bobbydecker.com. She can email you,
That's right.
You know what? We have something absolutely fabulous. The Miss Rania has put together some data that is going to knock your socks off.
This is good stuff.
Remember the fact that there were 3 top countries moving in on that NAR report, on National Association report, and guess who lines up with them? We do. Our number one international podcast downloader is China. Number one people moving into the United States, and particularly here on the West Coast. The number 2 podcast downloaders was Canada. The number 2 group of people buying in the United States was Canada, downloading our podcast. And number 3, UK. Number 3 in both categories, downloading our podcast and in the NAR program. I think there's probably some corollary here. They're listening to us and buying property. Do you think that's the way it works?
I'm telling you, I'm convinced.
Oh, yes, we are pushing the entire economy. There you go.
If you can't see me, I'm breaking my arm trying to pat my back. I'm convinced that our podcast is one of the main reasons people are so successfully communicating and buying property in the United States, right? They listen to us. They keep posted. We keep them educated.
Well, let's see if number 4 ends up being Australia. We'll have to get Rania to see what the number 4 is for us.
Number 4 is Australia for us. Yeah, we want to see if the National Association of Realtors report
indicates
Australia. Right. See if we got everyone 1 through 4. But getting the top 3, ladies and gentlemen, I think is just fine. That's a heck of a notation.
That is really cool to see, and that's one of the great things about the podcasting. You could track, who's downloading, where they're listening. But the exciting part about that is that there's no end to where we could, send this communication. That's what's fun about this, and it's great to see how it lines up. It really is.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And there is a corollary. Sure. It may not be that we're driving them to buy here, but they certainly want to gather information about the United States market, and we're about the United States, the world market. So that makes them interested in catching up with us.
All right, what are we going to finish up with here?
Okay, so I got to do one more time. Okay. We're actually going to be in Belize, October 12th through the 16th, small group. So Joe's in, Dan's in, Bobby and I are. So if you want some more details, my number again is 650-533-8790, and you can email me at gwsaupe@IMANDSA.com.
Very good. All right. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. This was a lot of fun, but remember to tune in next Friday because we're going to have part 2, and we're going to keep this flow of information going.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah, here we go. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. For more information, you can go to reradiolive.com, and please, please, please give us some reviews. Tell us what you think. Take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com.